My name's Melissa. Today we're doing a Hatha class. Starting in tabletop, we'll warm up the spine with some cat and cow poses. On every inhale, you can let the belly sink down to the floor. And on every exhale, you can round the back towards the ceiling. We'll come into neutral and then move side to side with the hips and shoulders. Imagine your spine moving in a C shape, left to right. And back in neutral, we'll find some barrel rolls, imagining a barrel around your midsection and your rib cage trying to touch the interior sides of that barrel. Change direction. From here, tuck your toes under and lift your hips up to your first downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet as needed. Find some length through the back and through the legs. We'll shift forward to plank position and lower to the front. So if you need to, knees can come down first and all the way down. On your front, untuck your toes. Inhale into a cobra. So a very small baby cobra, just using the muscles of the back. We can return back to the floor. And then again, inhale. And returning to the floor. From here, taking your hands in front of you, one hand on top of the other, elbows wide. We'll lengthen the legs back and bend the right knee. With the right knee bent, lift the foot towards the ceiling and then reach the foot towards the floor on the left-hand side. I'm keeping my right elbow to the floor so I won't be able to go too far. Come back to center, leg comes down, left knee bends, bringing that knee up off the floor, and then stretching it across towards the right side. Back at center, we'll open the arms now. So the arms are wide. We're going to come into the shoulders as we do the same movement. Bending the right knee, take the foot towards the left. You might even have the foot touch the floor. And then back at center, we'll bend the left knee, float it towards the sky, and take it towards the right. The hands might slide on the mat or on the floor, and that's okay. Come back into center. Bring your hands underneath your chest and push back towards a child's pose. From your child's pose, come into tabletop. Tuck the toes under and find again your downward facing. In downward facing dog, we'll step the right foot forward to the hands. From here, bring yourself up to a high lunge. Reaching high with the arms, elbows straight. See if you can make your pelvis tall and upright. Do your best to breathe through the nose. From here, the hands can come down to the hips. Keeping the back heel lifted, or just straighten your front leg. Hinging at the hips, reach your chest forward. Now, it might be helpful to have blocks underneath the hands for support. You could keep your hands on your hips if you're not tilting too much. Hands might be able to reach the floor as well. Drawing the outer right hip back. Reaching the chest forward will increase intensity. Right, you could also fold down towards the front leg. heel, back heel, turning down to the floor as I bend the front knee 90 degrees. So the front knee is bending, the back leg is straight, the toes are pointing slightly forward on the mat. On an inhale, I'll come up, shoulders stacking over the hips, arms wide, warrior two. You might take your gaze over the right hand. Maintaining the legs. Left hand can rest on your left leg. Right arm reaches up and back. You might even bend more into your right knee. As you return upright, straighten your front leg. Keeping the legs straight, reach your right arm forward over your right leg. Reaching as far as possible. Right hand can come down, either again on a block or resting against your shin, and left arm up. Triangle pose. See if you can straighten your arms and your legs. Notice the length on both sides of your waist. On an inhale, pull your left hand up to the sky to bring you tall. From here, you can flip the feet to face the back of your mat. As I do, I want to find that my right heel is lifted, my left toes are pointing forward, and I'll sink into my lunge. Hands can come down to the hips. Pressing strongly through the ball of the right foot, I'll work to straighten the left leg and hinge from the hips. So again, small amount of tilt. You might be comfortable to keep the hands at the hips. A little bit deeper, you might want your hands on a support like a chair or blocks. If you're hinging a little bit further, hands can come to the ground. If you want even more intensity, lengthen the spine, pull the tail back. Pressing into your left heel, but drawing the hip towards the front of your mat, or the back of your mat in this case. With the right heel, we'll turn down so the toes are pointing out on the right diagonal. Bend your left knee, good 90 degrees, so deep bend. Sweeping the arms up for your warrior two. So noticing that warrior two, the shoulders are over the hips. We're not shifting the shoulders forward. Arms can come wide. Gaze can track over the left hand. Maintaining the legs, reverse your warrior. Consider bending into your left knee even more. As you come back up to tall, the front leg is straight and the arms are wide. Reaching the left arm over the left leg, this outer left hip draws back and under. Left hand can come down as the right arm goes up. Think about straightening the arms and the legs and the sides of the waist, triangle pose. As you inhale, coming back to stand, we'll face the long edge of the mat, so the feet are now parallel. Hands can come to the hips as you inhale, grow long, and exhale, hinge down. Hands will meet the mat. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. So here you might like to hold the elbows or even rest the hands on the floor. On an inhale, we'll lift the face and walk both hands to the left foot. So any amount that you can move to the left with the hands is good. You might even find your ankle and your foot, but again, you might not. As the upper body moves to the left, try your best to draw the right outer hip back. So you'll notice right away, the right hip wants to swing forward. Of course, if you have blocks, this is also a great place to use them. Check in with where you are sending the weight through the feet. We'll walk the hands to the right foot. So again, you might just be moving partway to the right foot, something like this, and that's totally okay. You'll feel lots of work there. As you take your hands more towards the right foot, you'll notice the left hip wanting to pull forward, draw it back. Bring the hands back to center. Bend your knees, hands to hips, and inhale to stand. We'll bring the feet together at the center of the mat, so I like to heel to the feet closer together. Now work on a balance pose. So for this balance pose, we'll start with the weight going down the left leg, interlacing the hands, send the hands forward. So here the palms are reaching forward. They're going to counterbalance the pull of my hips back. So with the arms forward, bring your right knee to float, and then carefully, slowly, take the right leg behind the left to the far left diagonal. And the slower you can go, right, the further you can reach, and a little bit more engagement is required to hold you in that position. Now, when you found your maximum, right, your left knee's bending, your right leg is straight, you might stay here with the hands forward. If you want, you might challenge yourself to take the arms up, even adding a bit of side bend. So the torso, the hands are reaching to the left, while the hips, the side body's bowing out, stretching out to the right. So if you're having some trouble balancing, you might shorten your stance and make it narrower. We'll bring the hands forward again, loading into the left leg, bring yourself up to stand. Right, so lots of bend in the knee. We'll do the same on the other side. So arms are reaching forward. Send the weight down your right leg. Float your left knee. And then as you take the left leg back, you have a bit of a hinge going forward. You're going to feel your left leg stretching out to the right diagonal. And if you can, challenge yourself to go slow. The foot does land, and when you get there, press into the foot, arc out to the left. You might stay with the hands forward. You might reach them up and even arc the hands to the right as the hips go to the left. It's a pretty big stretch. It can be hard to balance, so do be patient. reset or adjust as you need. And you'll notice the more you bend into your right knee, the deeper this goes. All right, hands can come forward. All right, as you shift the weight back to your right leg, you're going to keep that knee bent and bring the left leg to center. Hands can come down, take a moment, eyes closed, mountain pose, just resetting. And then go ahead, open your eyes. We'll turn to the front of the mat and inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Let your head go down. As you inhale, go long, chest forward, and hands to the mat. We'll step back into plank. Okay, so plank from your toes, find your core, press into the floor through the pads of your fingers. Now here we're going to bend the right knee, so the right foot is off the floor, and step over the left foot. Reach your right arm over your ear and just feel a side bend. So if you're unsure or not feeling comfortable to be in one foot in that plank to make the transition, you can just stay in a regular plank. Bring the right hand back down to the floor and resume your plank pose. We'll try it for the other side. So bending the left knee, take the left foot around as you spin the hip. And again, reach through the left arm. You'll notice I'm not turning my chest to the ceiling. I really want to focus on this length through my left diagonal side. And also it just helps to keep the shoulder in a slightly more safe position. Good. Bring the left hand down to the floor. Push your hips up to the sky for a moment. If you feel good here in downward dog, please stay. If you would prefer to be in a lower position, tabletop, or even child's pose. Wherever you are, start to come back, and we'll take a seat. So if you're in downward dog, you can just step your feet forward and sit down. If you're in child's pose, you may just roll off to the side and take the feet forward. Allow the legs to come forward out in front of you. I'll take the right foot up and over the left knee. And here I'm making a twist. So left hand, left arm wraps around the right knee. Right hand behind as I grow tall to twist. And a little counter twist. And we'll do the other side. So the right leg comes to straighten, the left foot steps over. I'm keeping my right leg as an anchor, so that's why my foot is flexed this whole time. Hugging around the left knee, left hand can set behind me for support as I twist to look over the left shoulder. Unwinding, little counter twist. And then setting both feet out in front. I'm going to roll down the spine. So taking your time, try to feel that you can take each vertebra one at a time and place them on the floor. When you come to the mat, we can set the feet on the floor. If you'd like to just take a moment in neutral, you can knock the knees together like this, or even just hug through the front of your shins. Allow your arms to come down, your legs to come down as you soften your face to rest. Taking your awareness inside, maybe noticing your breath. you have the time today to stay in your final rest for another 3 to 4 minutes, that would be ideal. But if you need to get up and continue with your day, start to bring your awareness back to the body, feeling the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, taking the arms up above your head and the legs together to stretch. As the knees come towards your chest, you roll onto your side. In your own time, making your way up to seated. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. Thank you for your energy, for practicing yoga, and especially for all of your efforts. Have a wonderful rest of your day.